Hey, Rongamer. Hey, Sergio. Hey, Don. Smaller crowd today. That's interesting. Uh, Usually, lately, there's been a blast of mornings, but oh, I left my monster sitting down here. Let me pick it back up there. There we go. Um, got the monster can and morning. Well, what a morning. U.S. government announcing chip restrictions and retail sales coming in a little warm, a little hot, and market turning a little sour first thing here. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we're just gonna retrace a little bit. As I mentioned yesterday, until we break out above that 4405 level on SPX, we're likely in for chop. It's just a sideways zone of chop. Now, hey, Brian, Jason, Ray, Ryan, Kimberly. Oh, Kimberly's here today. Rizio, Craig, Michael, Andreas, Valerie. Glad to see everybody. If you want to chat with me like all these fine folks, all you got to do, hit the button down here, become a subscriber, the little green overlay button, and a few seconds later, you can chat on the live stream. Infinity, David, Gary, David, good morning, and Merle. And, once you become a subscriber, you got to hit the bell with the notifications, turn on all notifications. If YouTube thinks you might watch this, it'll tell you when I'm going live. Now, today at 5 p.m., I have a request show. And unfortunately, not very many people have been showing up to that. So, if I don't get many requests, then the show's not awesome. So, you got to show up. That's like a participation thing. You got to show up to make the request so that I have the content so you can come back and watch it. Anyway, so that's coming up at 5 p.m. Eastern today. And if I don't get requests, then I can't do the show. So, I mean, it's just, it's just one of those things, Um, yeah, we do have Tesla earnings coming up, and that is tomorrow. So I know it, Wrongimer. Right here. Right here. So we have this morning Bank of America, Lockheed Martin, Goldman Sachs, Johnson Johnson, Prologis, whatever, Bellin, BNY Mellon, Ericsson. Last evening we had Service First Bank, and I can't even read that one at this point. So we had some banks between last night and this morning. I think the bigger story going at the moment is this. I don't know if it's called a ban, but this ban on chip exports to China, or restrictions, I guess they're calling it restrictions. The A1 or the A800 chips and the H800 chips are now going to be restricted from, and Nvidia developed those chips specifically to sell to China, is the amusing thing here. So Biden administration cracking down on that. I think Nvidia was down 12%. I think is what I saw. We'll have to pull that up and look here in a minute. We do have banks sprinkled throughout the rest of the week here. Morgan Stanley, Bank Corp, MT Bank, Ally, First Horizon, Zions, Columbia Bank, Discover Financial, Truist, KeyBank. I mean, we've got all sorts of banks coming up, even American Express, and it just lasts all week. So financials kicking in here. We got a little bit of big tech. I'm gonna call Tesla big tech because I mean at this point they're developing tech and electric cars, smart self-driving cars. How can you say it's not tech? I mean they're building cars, but they're really a tech company. And once all the other car companies start licensing all their technology, they're just selling tech to other car companies. I mean it's a master plan, right? Uh, Beautiful strategy. So really big tech instead of the old days of Fang. Now we've kind of have Tang. Tesla, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, Microsoft in there. I don't know where the M comes in, but Meta. I guess you could throw it in there. It seems like they're not doing a whole lot lately, but their stock's certainly high priced. So we'll see how this all shakes out in the next little bit. Anyway, Any questions, anybody, on what's coming up? And a bit more nervous than last corner. Yeah, we don't know what's the market's not clear right now. Um, Tesla, while it does have a pattern of dropping on earnings, we'll have to see. We'll talk about that more later this evening, probably. But especially since this comes in, I mean, this is kind of worry about that tomorrow. And today we're right here. We got United Airlines after the close. We got JB Hunt, which kind of stood to benefit from Yellow going bankrupt. If you're unfamiliar, Yellow Trucking went bankrupt, and JB Hunt was one of the main beneficiaries. And we've got Pinnacle Bank, Wintrust, and Omnicom Group. Anyway, this week, next week, week after, probably dominated by earnings news over any other financial stuff. But we did have core retail sales coming out this morning, 8:30. Came in a little hot. Why would the market react negatively? That's a good question because, look, retail sales coming in strong. That's like good for stock prices going higher. All this stuff, everybody's like, oh, but the Fed's going to raise rates and that's bad for the stock market. Think about it this way. That's the mainstream media narrative. But if the Fed is raising rates to try to slow down the economy, that means our economy is strong. Stock prices probably going up. Like everything's like strong. They're trying to slow it down for whatever ridiculous reason. Try to, control inflation. Yeah, right. They're not going to control inflation. The government controls inflation with their money printing. Let's be honest. As long as Congress and the president, the two branches of the government that handle finances are dumping money in the economy, we're going to keep having inflation. There's nothing the Federal Reserve can do to stop it. They're not going to stop it. So, it's like shooting a BB gun at a nuke, like one guy's throwing hand grenades, the other guy's got a BB gun. I mean, it's them dumping money into the economy with all these, infrastructure reduction, whatever, Inflation Reduction Act, infrastructure bill, just dumping trillions of dollars into the economy. That's like hand grenades or nuclear bombs even. And the Fed sitting there with their BB gun trying to raise rates and have an effect. It's just not, I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Plus, the Fed's rates take 2 years to even take effect. Dumping trillions of dollars into the market, as soon as that starts hitting, that's inflation. Like, it's inflationary immediately. As soon as people start spending, the rates raising takes like 2 years. So that's like a very lagging effect on the economy. That's also why I say it's like a BB gun. So, war doesn't really matter. War is bullish. Let's face it. War makes money move in the markets. You got to buy weapons. You got to buy lots of stuff. So war is inflationary and good for higher prices. I mean, maybe a faux pas to say that, but it really is. So we've got core retail sales coming in hot, and everybody's like, that makes the Fed want to raise rates more. And that's bad for the stock market. Well, it's not really bad, as I was, circling back to what I was saying. If the Fed's raising rates, that means things are good. It's when the Fed starts cutting rates that things are about to take a turn for the less awesome. All right, that means things aren't going so well, and they're cutting rates to try to boost the economy, which, again, even cutting rates, it takes 2 years to trickle through. So it's still a very lagging thing. You don't get these immediate effects. I mean, look at the last housing crisis, 2008. It took like till 2012 to really start coming out of that in any meaningful way. So anyway, I digress on that situation. Tomorrow, not a whole lot happening. We get some housing permits and starts. FOMC Waller, FOMC Williams, FOMC Bowman, FOMC Hawker, FOMC Cook. It sounds like a day of them blabbing, getting out there, beating the drum. Probably going to talk about how they need to raise rates, whatever. Try to keep everybody in check. I don't know what the plan is. That's a whole lot of people talking, though. And then on Thursday, we have unemployment, as always. We got Philly Fed manufacturing, 16 home sales, natural gas storage, Powell speaking at noon. Then Goolsby, Barr, Hawker, Logan. I mean, why why are they out there beating the drums? I'm not sure what the purpose is. But then on Friday, not a whole lot either. So really dominated by earnings. And this week, really dominated by the Tesla and Netflix earnings. So the next week coming up, we have a flash manufacturing and services PMI on Tuesday. Monday's kind of a benign day. And Wednesday, well, these are just the things coming down the pipe, things to keep in mind. We have GDP coming out next Thursday. Now that tends to be a market mover, especially when we look at the fact that we're spending more money than we're bringing in GDP. I mean, the rate of acceleration of spending money on interest payments is growing faster than the GDP. They need the economy to kickstart and grow fast, but can't do it you can't spend your way into growth. So, unfortunately, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out, but it's probably gonna, cook numbers anyway. And we also have PCE, core PCE coming out later. Golly, that's next week already. Already down to the end of the month. Golly, one third of the quarter already getting to be gone. Crazy. Then we have some daylight saving stuff. Looks like coming up, and yeah. So I mean, I mean, really, they get out there and beat the drum and try to get the attention on raising rates. Maybe this is the all these people speaking. Maybe that's the effort to try to keep the market from reacting negatively. Hey, we're raising rates. We're raising rates. We're raising rates. And if they say that 100 million times in speaking day after day after day, maybe when they raise rates on the next FOMC next month, that we don't freak out, right? Everybody expected it. They did it. I mean, they already told us they're going to raise it again, and we've only got two more meetings this year? And yeah, so it's either going to happen the next one or the next one if they raise it this year like they said they would. So, and that's as I was talking to my VIP group yesterday. It's bad for treasuries. It's like, oh my gosh, treasuries and bonds, blah blah blah. They're epically horrible. Well, if you know the Fed's going to raise rates, why would you buy a long-term bond? Why would you do it? If you know the Fed's going to raise rates, if you know it, why would you buy it? Like, that just immediately crushes the demand for long-term bonds, because you're going to be able to buy a higher yielding bond as soon as they raise rates. Right? Nobody's talking about this, but hey, there you go. It's just one of those things, right? It's like, once I say it, you're like, oh, well, no wonder. So if you know the Fed is raising rates, then why would you invest in bonds now? It just crushes the demand, right? Unless you have to go into something. And then if you have to go into something, why not go into the short term, not the long term? Put your money in the short term. When that is done, take your money back out and buy the longer term that's a higher rate. So we'll see. See if it happened in November or December, or maybe they lied and do it in January. But this barrage of Fed speakers over the next 2 weeks looks like they're beating the drum so that they can raise the rates at the next FOMC meeting. So there you go. All right, what's moving today? What's crack-a-lacking? Yesterday we came up back to the high we had just a few days before last week, and then the chip news coming out and crushing the hopes and dreams of the S&P 500 and Nasdaq and Bitcoin. Bitcoin, turns out that was rallying on a tweet that BlackRock's ETF was approved, and then BlackRock quickly dispelled that, or tweet or X or post or whatever you call it. Anyway, so somebody had tweeted out, don't you miss the days when a tweet moved the market like crazy? You're sitting there, just having your lunch, and all of a sudden the market starts ripping. You're like, what the heck? And it's like, oh, Trump tweeted. So, what chip news? Yeah, Biden administration restricting NVIDIA's chips that they designed specifically to sell to China. So, new chip restrictions on NVIDIA and causing them to plummet. Look at that, down. Probably going to drop on out. And that was at the 618. So, withstanding the chip news, look, we came down, found support, came up, hit the 618 retrace of that move up. And guess what? Next move down, targets that's right down here, 377 at the minimum, maybe 357. Would not surprise me if we come right down, hit the roadmap line. I mean, you can say it's all the news or whatever. Look, this move right here, copy that, put it right there, right off that high. Look right there. I have that off 2 candles right there. I mean, is it the chart? Is it the news? You tell me. Lots of stuff getting hit because of that. But that's kind of set the mood. I mean, AI has been the big driver in the market, pushing us higher. It's time to rotate out of AI type stuff and into something else. I mean, it just is. It's time. Like, we can't keep pushing AI. The attention span's gone from market participants, and really the one that's outperforming this one should come apart too. The GLP-1 drugs, they're probably going to run their course and get to maybe this 659 here. NVO probably going to get up to 109 here. This is post split, and these will probably rotate out too. They probably go back through one of these periods here. Now, interestingly enough, on the GLP-1 drugs, they're being looked at as maybe an anti-addiction. And that applies to everything that you might be addicted to, not just food. So a whole new class of anti-addiction drugs. Wouldn't that be interesting? So, interesting developments. Now, S5FI, we dipped, but we didn't dip as far as I thought we might. So watch for that to dip a little more. We could go a little deeper. This move down could take us to a lower low. I don't know for sure. We came up, we didn't quite make a higher high yet. So this is the caution I've got in the market. And Rongamer, this could end up taking Tesla down tomorrow, possibly. We'll have to see how this shapes up today. So we came up just to a lower high here. Topped out over here. Ting, came up. We could make one more extension down, make a lower low than we made right here on Friday. We very well could. And I'm cautious about this, all right? Till we break out or break down, we're just sideways. This is the main direction here, just sideways. Chopping in the range. We've got support down here. We've got resistance up here. We're stuck in the range until we break out or break down. I give it higher odds to break out than I do break down right now. Everything's kind of coming together. We've got a lot of divergence on these last lows as far as MACD, AO, all the different things I look at for divergence. We've got it in spades. This is starting to curl all the things up. We're pretty oversold as far as the market goes. There's a lot of bearishness out there, and we can go ripping. All right. Please be careful. But we're just stuck in a sideways churn at this point. I put that on there for a test of a pattern that I was looking at. Let's see if it holds. So right there, we came down, bounced off the roadmap line, got a bullish engulfing, but then taking it back today. So we'll see what happens there. See what happens. Still expecting sideways. We're not breaking out. that 4405 is still my level on the cash index. NQ just churning sideways. That's just big candle, big candle. You know, that was an inside candle. And interestingly enough, indecision. This one may be an inside candle too, or we could get some flush out. We'll see. See what happens here. Russell, I was warning this was not extremely bullish, and so far, just churning at the bottom. Oil. This is interesting. Interesting. We did not get any kind of continuation. We retraced a little bit, holding. So far, we're holding these levels right over here. So far. If we can hold that and turn higher, probably going higher. If we get back below it, odds are we might see a lower low than we saw right here in oil. So cautious. I did not add any to my position yesterday because of the weakness in the lower time frame that I was seeing. Gold holding up over the roadmap line so far. This is positive, but we're not breaking out yet. So still got more to wait on gold. Bitcoin, that was beautiful yesterday. Even if it was on a rumor, I don't care. That's still confirming the uptrend here. This is, we're probably setting up for a bigger move higher. Can it crush the hopes and dreams right now? Sure, it sure can. But look, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher high. This is the things we look for. This may consolidate another, I don't know, 2 weeks. We could get another 2-week consolidation and then rip again. Oh, that follows some other pattern I watched too. Imagine that. Anyway, hello, Crypto Unleashed. All right. Ethereum didn't really participate nearly as much. Well, it wasn't really related to Ethereum. Bitcoin spot ETF didn't really have anything to do with, although, when 50% or, whatever of the market goes up, it usually floats most of the boats. We saw a lot of positive action in crypto yesterday. So Ethereum, though, still consolidating down here at the lows. Yeah. DXY, just churning right here. If we break down below this level down here, probably coming down to the roadmap line. If we break back above this resistance, probably going up. That's kind of it's as simple as it is right now. We're either going up or down, and it's kind of like the S&P. We're stuck sideways for now until we either break above the resistance or below the support. All right, what's actually moving? AVGO stuck at, can't break out. Look at that. How many times is it tested now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times up there. If it can break out, 961 or possibly 1,000. If it can't, it may come down and hit the roadmap line. OLK. Wow, that's a pop. Talk about a pop. Right up to that resistance. Right up to the resistance. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. 5 or 6. I mean, it depends on how many you count right there. That's a lot of supply right there. Maybe a little trouble getting through that zone. If it can, it may be able to clear itself up right here. So, right into the resistance. May see a retrace, may not. I don't know. We'll see. It's a biotech, though. Biotechs don't always follow my patterns. Be careful. It's tough. Biotechs just do their own thing sometimes. WH Wyndham. This is I guess Choice Hotels made an offer to buy Wyndham for like $8 billion. So positive for Wyndham, but still stuck right in, just right back to the resistance. We look at the financials. They're worth $6 billion, so $8 billion be a billion, like $1.5 billion premium over the current market cap. Not too shabby. That means the buyout price is probably way on up here. Could be a good deal if that's what you got in mind. Now I don't know. You'd have to read the particulars and see if the debt is part of that deal and all that stuff. I don't have the particulars, but just look at the market cap. I know it was an $8 billion offer, and they're sitting here at 6.5 market cap. So SPRC getting a pop, but that's still a bearish chart. That's still a very bearish chart. Be careful on that. That can continue down the toilet bowl. 1 for 26. That's reverse split. Reverse splits are bearish, and I would expect. I mean, it already did make a lower low after the reverse split, and I would expect it to continue down the toilet. Reverse splits are not a save the day situation. So CIR. That's an interesting. Wonder why it just parked there. Must be a buyout of some sort. That's the only thing I think. That's got to be a buyout, right? Yeah, merger, KKR. Yeah, had to be. But that's the only thing that makes a chart look like that. DLTR. Man, maybe this is the bottom. So wrong or right, look at that one. Right there. Played out perfectly. Right there, the width of that initial thing is where this can go. So if we were looking at that last night on Tesla. You don't, but the thing is, you don't know if it's going out the top or going out the bottom. Dollar Tree here went out the bottom. This can be the lows, and we can turn up. Ollie, I think it was OL Ollie. OLI. Ollie had some pretty good news of some sort. I didn't read what it was, but oh, it was Goldman Sachs upgrade and raised the price target to 83. Saw that briefly come through while I was looking for other things. So maybe it's a sign that the consumer is actually turning weak and more dollar store. Yeah, these epic drops are not a sign of weak consumers. Dollar stores tend to rally when we have weak consumers. And back here, now, is this the bottom for Dollar General? Is it Dollar Tree? So these are ones to keep an eye on for the strength of the economy. Now, if these start rallying like crazy, that means people are likely shopping there a lot more, and weak consumers, and maybe we're going to see some economic trouble down the pipe. So, UVIX, that one did a reverse split, not bullish. Be careful on that one. That can just continue its leveraged march down to zero. IHG, Intercontinental Hotel Group, and that's bullish. Retrace the roadmap line. We could see potential for that to go higher. 81 to 83 on the next run if it's going to do it. NVIDIA, like I started out talking about, probably expect that to come down to the roadmap line. I don't care what the narrative is. The price pattern says it's likely to do it, and it could take out to the end of the year. I didn't know that Biden was going to, I've had this on the chart for a long time. Anybody that's heard me has known for months I've been talking about NVIDIA was topping out. And right now that's kind of a head and shoulders pattern too. Look. Shoulder, head, shoulder. We could see a bigger drop. Anybody that's been following me for a little while knows I've been talking about the crazy price to sales. I mean, this could take it all the way down to the 1618, down here around 342. All right, simple as that. Be careful. That's my advice on NVIDIA. VMware. Oh, guess what? The shock that they didn't get picked to go into the NASDAQ, but look at that. It topped right at the 1618. Retrace the roadmap line. We came down. It looks like we're finding support at the prior consolidation. Does it have to go to the roadmap line? No, it doesn't have to. Could that be the retrace we needed before the next extension? That could be. Could be. Right there. 187, 195 on the next extension out. Lulu gets added to S&P today, I think at the close, and stands to accumulate 15 days worth of buying as funds add this to their holdings. So even for a quick buck, hold this for a couple days. Could be, buy some shares, hold it for a couple days, sell it. And I wouldn't expect long-term run. I mean, we're getting near the 424. Maybe just buy now and sell at 424, make $5 or $6. Not a bad idea. Remember, probably didn't even say this. All trading involves those times or risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is informational, educational, fun, not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. So don't buy Lulu. I mean, you could do it. It's pretty clear, but I'm not recommending you buy or sell anything out there. All right. And if you desire personal financial advice, hire and consult a financial advisor. So anyway, ASML right there, probably trekking on down to the zone right there. SMCI, that one looks like it wants to go hit the roadmap line. Same pattern as NVIDIA. This is wicked right here. Look, 618, that can lead to right down here. I've been expecting the roadmap line, but this can easily result in a move right down here. Please be careful. TR, if you're listening, please be careful. I know you're long as heck on SMCI. LMT, working on the breakout. This is going to be really positive. Man, look at this. Just the simplistic way to look at this. Once we get above this 465 area, certainly above this resistance right there, this thing can go ripping. 538, 577. Huge upside target potential. Man, that 25, 30%. Beautiful. SOXX getting hit on the chip news. We may go a little deeper. 440 down there on the downside. MDB struggling to find its legs, I guess you would say. Pull that over to that low. 476, 529 on the upside, but we got to get through this resistance right there. Definitely has some resistance right there. FNGU just continuing to chop, holding the kind of the downtrend. That's the only, the pattern's not bullish, super bullish until we break out through the resistance, which is the orange box right there. Now, we could be doing probably are doing a 1-2 type setup right there. In fact, I should circle back. Before I wrap this up, I'm going to show you the pattern on ES right now that might hold. So I'll circle back. I was looking at that on my other computer. So this one right here, looking for this orange box to hold. If it does, and we turn up, break out above this high right here, can be extremely powerful and positive for FNGU to make the run to 250. Possibly even 280. And that's almost like 50% gain from where we are right now. It's pretty powerful. All right. NTCT, NetScout. No idea what they do. Package software. That looks bearish. NVDO. Well, of course, that's leveraged long on NVIDIA. That's bearish, of course. NVDS is probably rocking it. Not breaking out yet. That is interesting, though. It topped out at the 1618, did the retrace. Leverage stuff doesn't always do that. Doesn't always follow patterns. So be careful on leverage. But check it out. Maybe 44, 47. And could possibly come up to the roadmap line. Reverse split. Got to be careful. This is a decaying asset. Baidu. Probably getting hit on the China news. The chip news. That's starting to look like head and shoulders-ish, but really just that big blue sideways arrow. Just more chop between the resistance and the support. So just more chop till we break down or break up. Nothing on Baidu. And it's China. It's like one of my 4 things, you know, China, low price stuff, leverage stuff, biotech pharma, or pharma tech, whatever you want to call it, biopharma tech. Those are the things. So semiconductor ETF, we've got a downtrend cooking now. Got to break above that to get higher. Otherwise, we can just keep on keeping on down the toilet. Snow, this one still hasn't broken above resistance or below support. That's an important high at this point. Made a lower high. If we don't break it soon, it's looking like we may go retest support. If we break support down to 100. NUVL, that looks like it wants to come back to the roadmap line. ALC, there was lots of bearish stuff today. Yeah, that did the pattern. Plus some. Looking a little bearish while we're under the roadmap line, making a lower high. And if we hold this zone and turn up, it can be very positive, but right now, no indications until we're back above that kind of area right there. And that has a little gap fill it's got to do. So it's got a resistance zone built up right there. And then lay the other fib line on, and there you go. Look at all that resistance. Got to get above that to go higher. 89, 93, possibly even like 105 if it really got going. So CRWD, CrowdStrike, probably hitting targets. Gosh, the 200 extension. It does have resistance right up here from this prior high and this, like, yeah, prior highs. Right there, up to there. So we may go blasting off and test that supply zone right up there. IBM, ouch. Can it reverse? It could be positive if it does right here. This could go out to 155, 160. AMD, still churning, failing to get going. But here's the deal. It's if it holds this downtrend, like see this downtrend line? If it broke out, classic pattern would be a retest, even if it retests lower than where it broke out. Hold, turn back higher. As soon as we gap fill higher, this is like the ultra super aggressive entry type situation right there. You could go long at 105 on the next break above that. Can it still fail? Sure, it can still fail. Super aggressive, that would be an entry. In fact, I'm going to probably move my alert down here at this point. We break above that. That's bullish. The targets are up here like 140, 150. That would be a very bullish pattern for AMD. Can AMD go higher while NVIDIA goes lower? You bet your butt it can. So, oh, there's an alert on AMD while I've got the chart up. Funny enough, going lower. Yeah, AMAT. Circle back to AMD. Yeah, I was looking forward to come back and test that roadmap line. That was my, or actually to test this downtrend line. That was my alert for that. That just fired off. I'm going to put another one just down a little lower. We hold in there. Break back above. That's super positive. Actually, I'm going to add this one back. Add another one up there above that resistance right there. Since we kind of double topped with a slightly lower high. But this is classic right here. This move up, this retrace. If the next move breaks up through there, it's game on. Like that's a potentially very bullish pattern out of something that looks pretty horrible. Horrible. Anyway, AMAT just consolidating, turning down at the 618. That could go lower. Please be careful. Chasing that. Could see it drop on down to this 126 area. DDOG holding up pretty well. I actually put a trade on yesterday on that. based on a 15-minute chart, and that's the stuff right there. Looking for a move up to 92. Anyway, right there, just holding the roadmap line and not overly. I mean, I bought like 3 shares, 5 shares. I don't know. Wasn't very much. I was just testing a new pattern. A, B, and B. Just consolidating. Made a lower low. This can reverse with the higher low off of this little blip. Retrace, hold a higher low, break out. So watch for a move above 133 at this point. Then we have resistance above us to clear right up here at 145. That could set us off. 163, 173. Possibly the bigger pattern up to 220-ish. Still looking pretty good on Airbnb. It's not, no hopes and dreams have been crushed so far for me. Now, if we do start breaking back below this stuff over here, then we can talk about breaking my hopes and dreams on Airbnb. But Amazon, that one's still holding up really well. Probably doing an initial little higher low situation before we get going. So that's the last one on my list for the morning on the movers. ES, let's talk about the overnight action real quick before we wrap this up. Look right here. I'll show you this little thing right here before I wrap it up. So this low we had on Friday, this high we had like yesterday after right before noon. That right there, we retraced to the 618 right there. Look at this beautiful, beautiful thing right here. If we break out over this, we are going up, baby. Next move up sets us up for a move up into this 44.60 area, which is going to probably break us out over the 44.05. So, looked up big lots. Yeah. All right. There's deals all over the place. So, thanks for coming. We'll have the request show at 5 p.m. That's 5 p.m. Eastern. That's 30 MA. 30 moving average. No, 30 minutes of awesome. And hope to see you there. Come like it. Come participate. Make sure you like and share this video if I said anything you found beneficial or entertaining or anything. You can even thumbs down it if you want, but I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I don't care. If you don't like the content, why are you here? But thank you all for coming. If you would come hang out with me in Discord, I'll be there all day. Link is in the description down below. And I'll see you at 5 p.m. for 30 minutes of awesome.